It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z. Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a tile placement and traversal kind of game called Old World, New World here. In Old World, New World, you're going to be playing cards that behave like tiles, they're square cards, and then moving your characters across the board, trying to make it all the way across from you before the other players do it to you. And so you're going to have a player sitting across from you making their way towards you, and if you're playing with enough players, two players cutting across the board. And as you can imagine, you start getting in each other's way, you start playing cards where someone else was hoping to play cards, all that good stuff. So let's take a look at how this game works. I'll give you a quick overview, then we'll come on back and I'll tell you if I think this is a fun game, how it works, and you know, what I thought about the whole thing. Here we go. To set up the game, we are going to put together the frame here. We shuffle up the deck of cards, give everybody 5 cards, and then each player also gets a handful of their tokens, which are double-sided. They have a soldier on one side and a ship on the other side. The objective of the game is to, by laying out cards, deploying your units, and moving them across the board, start on your own edge. So if I'm sitting here, I'm there. This player would be sitting right here. And traverse the board, getting to the other side and exiting the board on these designated arrows. Once you get 3 units off the board on 3 different arrows, then you've won the game. And so the turns go like this. I have my hand of 5 cards here, and I get to do one of 2 things. I get to play cards up to 2, or I can discard and then redraw. When the discard and redraw it's obvious. You just get rid of some and draw some new ones. The play cards allows you to do a couple of different things. First of all, most of the cards are going to be terrain cards, which display 3 kinds of terrain. You have the fields, you have the mountains, and then you have water. And then there are also some action cards you can play for specific events, sort of gotcha cards. The terrain cards, as you play them, they have to adhere to the grid. And so let's say I play this here. If as soon as I play one, there is a symbol on one of the land types closest to me, then I can immediately deploy a matching unit to it. So in this case, water, there's a ship symbol there. I can immediately deploy a ship there. And then I could play another card, and so I could even do this one, which has a soldier, and I immediately deploy a soldier there. And then I would draw back up, and that would be it. The way they move across the board is by also card actions, though there is a way for them to freely take move actions. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through these. I'm going to grab some cards here. I'm going to build this up a little bit just so you see how this works, all right? So let's say that this ship is here, and I would now like to, on my turn, play some cards, but I want to move that ship a little farther out as well. You can discard a card, they call it burning a card, to move a ship in a straight line, and the ships and the soldiers move the same way. You move just basically in a straight line until you hit the edge, or you would go into a different land type. So we make it all the way over here in a straight shot. But then, since it's now on a ship symbol, I get a free move on this one, so I could have it bounce all the way over here. And in fact, there's another one there. And so I could get a free move later on out of that one and continue moving. So that would have been my first play. And then if I had a water card in my hand, I could play that as well. Continue advancing that ship. Same thing for the soldiers here. If I have something that looks like that, then I could move it here for free. And then let's say I could discard a card, burn a card to move it here. And then it has a free move because there's a soldier symbol there. There's also the ability to, if you are somewhere adjacent to a symbol, you can convert a unit to the other unit if it matches that adjacent symbol. And so soldier standing there on that mountain, I could burn a card and convert it into a ship to allow me to, you know, perhaps I've been blocked off, I need to utilize the waterways, what have you. And this is, obviously, I'm showing you just this from my point of view, but all the players are going to be doing this, getting in each other's way, trying to utilize the cards that the other players have played in order to get across. This is really bad for this player because they would have to convert back and forth a few times if they're able to at all. And so you definitely start to feel the board start to get cramped, people playing cards out in front of you that you are not equipped to deal with. On top of that, as I said, you have all of the action cards. So let me find a couple here and read them to you so you see the kind of things you can expect. This one here says, Pirates, pick any port space on the board. All units on that space and the 8 adjacent spaces are destroyed. Nasty stuff. So all of those would simply go back to the player. And that could happen almost when you're there. So you need to watch out for those. You have here, let's see, what is this one? Convert. Convert a unit of your choice. You do not need to burn a terrain card, and the adjacent space you move into does not need a symbol. Very nice. This one's just a help yourself card. But there are a lot of nasty ones. And there is, in fact, even some volcano cards in here, like this one, which you can play on top of another card. And if it has a mountain space on it, you can play it over that, destroying everything there, becoming a volcano now. So that's the idea. This is going to continue. Sometimes you do pull ahead and then get reset, but typically the game does always have a feeling of progression. You continue doing that until you get something all the way across and it exits. You block the arrow that it left on so that you cannot reuse that one. And then you'll do it again. And then when you do it a third and final time, you have won the game. And that is how you play Old World, New World. All right, so I'll start with a couple of the negatives, which are not plentiful or anything, but there are a couple of things. First of all, the quality, the production quality of the game is not superb. That is, unfortunately, to be expected from Victory Point games, but I do like to mention it. Just, you're going to get cards that are not fantastic quality. The little frame is okay. The little tokens are really minuscule. The printing on them is not even great. The little soldier, the little ship do not look very detailed on there. But that's, again, fairly minor stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the font they used on the action cards. It can be a little hard to read. Having said all that, I think the game plays very well. It's a game that, while it does feel sometimes very punishing, and if you are someone who does not like being picked on, you should probably steer clear of this one. It does feel like you can come back from those things fairly quickly, because if you get reset all the way back, the board you've built or other players have built is still there. And as you see, the movement's pretty quick across the board if the path is already there. Burning a single card and triggering a move could get you sometimes most of the way across the board, if it's a straight shot across. And so I like it. I like that the players will get in each other's way. I like the ability to mess with each other a little bit, though I could understand again that some people are not going to like that. And I definitely would say I prefer the game with 4 players. You want to play with a full complement. It says 2 to 4 in the box. 3 is kind of a weird thing when you have only one player with no one across from them. It's not the end of the world, but 4 is the way to go. It simply plays best with that number. And so, yeah, I would recommend this one for people who enjoy puzzly traversal games, as long as you're okay with a little bit of nasty action cards. And if you're not going to be bothered by the production quality of the whole thing, which again it's not great. So yeah, this is a cool one. It's one that I was not sure I was going to like. The cover, it's okay. It's not particularly exciting. It certainly doesn't tell me what the game's going to be about or how or what kind of emotions it's going to bring out of me. But and the back again isn't particularly exciting. But the gameplay is neat, and again, I would recommend this one. It's one that every time it comes out, I sort of hesitate. I hesitate to bring it to the table, and then once it's on the table, I end up having a good time with it. And the other players I've played with also feel that way. So yeah, look into this one and give Victory Point Games some love. They make some pretty good stuff. So that's it for me. This is Old World, New World.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.